Hey everybody, and welcome back to another weekend roundup. Today we're going to take a look at all the mods newly released in the Giants Mod Hub for the week of October 14th through October 18th. Now this was a very busy week with mod releases. In fact, we had a total of 51 mods released this week, either updated or newly released. So let's go ahead and jump over to the Mod Hub and take a brief look at all of those updates and releases. So here we are actually on page 3 of the Mod Hub. That's where things started this week. Last week we ended with the AGCO high density baler. This week we started out with several updates. The Kuhn interactive sprayers and the Hardy interactive sprayers were updated, as well as the Brussels Unlad W20 silage blade. And we move on to page 2, which is where we see our first newly released mod for this week. We also had 2 maps get updated early in the week, Bab Rossi and Bunglesheim. We had updates to the Ford 40 Series Pack. The HS8 Sprayer Support trailer was updated. Then we had a release of several prefab mods. Now again, prefab mods are not mods you activate in the Mod Hub of the game in order to place in-game. These are mods that are created for the purpose of placing in map with Giants Editor. So the first new mod released this week was a Seasons Geo for France. Then we had the SiloKing 1814 Multi. This is an interesting mixing wagon. You can either make total mixed rations with this or pig food. We'll take a look at that here in a little bit. We have the Jean de Bru Toptiller cultivator and seeder get released. We had a silage roller, Machineryhall, a placeable WaterTower, and then the Warrior Truck Plus truck by 5.9 modding. Now this guy has put out several mods for PCs in truck format. He did a lot of hook lift trucks, and recently he's been doing these combo trucks. He's done a Ford, did another one, I forget what that one was, and now we are with the Warrior, and this one is actually also available for console, which is pretty cool. And we had some more updates. We had the Palm Sigma Plus get updated, the TGS 41500 man IT runner truck got an update, FarmTech Duris 2000 got updated, as well as Tuscan Lands. Then we had the More Bunker Silo and Kinsey Example Mill mods get released. I just released a mod video profiling these 2 mods separately, so we will not be talking about these in this weekend's roundup. Go check out that video over in the mod review playlist for a rundown on how these 2 mods work. Got a placeable windmill and a water. This is really kind of like a water well placeable. We have the Kotte Chisel plow and the Lizard Siroll 3000 silage roller. Let's get back to page 1. Last 24 mods. Started out with an update to the Antiburger HTS 2979 Multiland Plus mod. Then we had 3 Seasons Geos get released toward the end of the week. We had the Geo for Cork, Geo for Shropshire and Bavaria, the Fleming Bale Spike, the 2PTS11 SARMAT trailer, M402 disc Harrow, and an update to the Seasons Central Italy Geo, and also update for the placeable buying stations. And then we had Light at Rain. This is an interesting one. I don't think I'll be able to demonstrate it really in this weekend's roundup, but apparently in base game, when it rained at night, the lights went out. I don't know, I never really noticed that, if that's really a fact or not, but apparently this mod keeps the lights from getting turned off when it rains at night. We had the Bremer KG300 cultivator. This is a front cultivator that got released. The Leboulch Goliath 54S17 manure spreader. We have the DDK 240B bale trailer. The Sokoro SET-GM cultivator. The Farm Sim League map got released, or the Farm Sim League add-on got released this week for PC players. So you don't have to go to the Farm Sim League website now to get this. You can download it right here. Now, this is not a map. This is something you will need to play with multiple people in multiplayer format on either a hosted multiplayer game or a server. But now you don't have to worry about going to the Farm Sim League website to download that. And we had an update to the billboards mod, as well as updates to the DMT for a Demetra cultivator, the KBM 8PS cultivator, and the Fent Vario 900 S5 mod get released. When we have the farm building pack from Tyrolean Farm got released, so we can use those buildings on our own maps, should we so wish, as well as the Agroliner HKD 302 old, Joskin Betimax RDS 6000 animal trailer, and we had this map get released. I've yet to listen to Google Translate to hear how I'm supposed to say that. Let's hear it.
Wola Zabieżowska.
Yeah, that's the map got released toward the end of the week.
Wola Zabieżowska.
Wola Zabierzowska.
Yeah, okay. And then we ended the week out with the Fiat 6566 tractor. So let's go ahead and jump back in the game and take a deeper dive into all of the mods newly released for the week of October 14th through October 18th. All right, first up we have the Warrior Plus Plus truck by 5.9. Let's go ahead and pull that up. So if you go to vehicles and then trucks, we have the Warrior Plus Plus for $142,000. It is basically an edit of the in-game Warrior truck for $119,000. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. All right, so we start out with the Warrior in the semi-short configuration. We can change the main color, and we have all kinds of colors. We have satins, metallics, mattes. Then we have our standard colors, including the new gloss color. Let's just pick Kloss, just for fun, to commemorate the upcoming Kloss DLC. You can change the rim color from polished metal, chrome, to any number of other things. We could also make it Kloss if we wanted to go with a full single scheme. And then we have design color. Let's leave it. Let's make it something red so we can see what the design color is. There you go. So let's put that back, and let's make that stainless steel. So, as far as configurations go, we have the semi-short, the semi-normal, we have the semi-long. All of these have the headache rack, tool chest thing going on there. Then we have the flatbed variant. We have the long log bed. Sorry, we have the log bed variant. And back to semi-short. We have Lizard brand of tires. We have Trelleborg tires. We have Nokian tires. We have wheel setup of rim 1 lowered, rim 2 higher and softer. It's probably referring to the suspension. Rim 1 higher and softer. Rim 1 lowered. Rim 2 higher and softer. Rim 1 lowered. So you can see rim 2 lowered. So there you can kind of see the different options. Back to this one. And then we have fenders covered with paint. Design colored. Half paint. Half design. Half paint. Long design. There you go. I think that's supposed to be long paint and long design colors. Let's go back to this configuration. Then we have the exhaust. We have exhaust 1 normal, exhaust 2 normal, exhaust 1 tinted windows, the normal windows, tinted windows, exhaust 2 with tinted windows. Let's go back to exhaust 1. Then we have the Warrior Plus 460 horsepower engine, the 590 horsepower engine, and then we have bumper type 1, type 2, so we get a flat bumper with lights across the back, across the bottom, type 3, type 1. There you go. That is the Lizard Warrior Plus. Let's put a flatbed on this just to see what it looks like. Let's go ahead and lease it up. So as configured, $152,200 to lease, or to own, $7,762 to lease, $1,522 per day, and $3,196 per operating hour. This mod, if I haven't said so, is also available for all platforms. It's pretty standard inside as far as the Lizard truck configuration goes. We can hit X to drop the drop axle. Hit X to fold it back up. Let's have a rear hitch. We have reverse lights. Got hydraulics, electrical, and power hookups. Rear trailer also. We have straps to go across the back. Check out the lights. We have first stage lights, second stage lights. That's pretty much it. Guys, that is the Lizard Warrior Plus truck by 5.9. And like I said in the intro, this guy has done several truck mods for PC, and it's good to see that he's been able to bring his great efforts over to the console side also. Next up, we have the Fiat 6566 by Palo 5090R. This mod is available for all platforms, and we can find it here under small tractors. We have the Fiat 6566, $8,500 to buy, 65 horsepower, and 17 mile per hour top speed. See, we have no color options. We have configuration standard, 175 kilogram front weight, 325 front weight, 475 front weight, 575 front weight, back to standard. We have design standard with beacon, cabin type 1, cabin type 2. We have front loader attacher, stall attacher. We have wheel setup. We have Lizard. We have the Trelleborg front and rear tires. We have a different set of front tires for the Trelleborg. Another set of front tires. Back to Lizard. So as configured, again, it's $8,500 to buy, $433 to lease, $85 per day, and $178 per operating hour. Pretty basic, small tractor. Let's go ahead and see if it is two-wheel drive. So let's take a look at the inside. Animated gauge. It's for the tachometer. Light indicators. So it is indeed a two-wheel drive tractor. See, the rear wheels are spinning, front wheels are not. We have an animated foot throttle and animated brakes. Good to see. Look at our headlights. No first stage lights. No rear working lights. Brake lights, four-way flashers. Yeah, it looks like he's bent over a little bit. I think maybe it's not a very ergonomic farming position. Alright guys, that is the Fiat 6566, again by Polo 5090R. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next mod, which is the Fleming Bale Spike by Best of British Modding. This mod is available for PC only, and we're going to find it here under Baling Technologies. Go to Tools and then Baling Technologies. We have the Fleming Bale Spike for $500. No configuration options. $25 to lease, 5 per day, and 10 per operating hour. So we'll go ahead and get the Fiat out again. This particular mod attaches to any 3-point linkage, be that a front or a rear 3-point. Hook up to that. Lower it. At least on this particular mod, we don't have any other options. At least on this particular tractor. Go. It works as expected. That is the Fleming Bale Spike by Best of British Modding, and again, it is available for PC only. Next up, we have the Olbert Silageroller, the SW300 from BM Modding and Wopster. This mod is also available for PC only. You're going to find this mod here under Levelers. You have the Olbert SW300, $7,490 to buy, $381 to lease, $74 per day, and $157 per operating hour. And get our wonderful Fiat back. Now this may not work for this little tractor. It says the roller has a weight of 4.7 tons. I suspect it's probably going to weigh more than this little tractor itself. Yeah. Alright, let's go get a little bit more appropriate size tractor for this attachment. 4.7 tons, we're probably going to want something pretty hefty. Big counterweight on the front. And this mod is rather interesting because it has, I guess, several railroad wheels. The front. Oh, look at that. Even with that massive weight on the front, this thing still is just barely heavy enough to allow us to pick this thing up and move it around. So we're not going to go to the effort of basically putting silage in a bunker so we can see how well this compacts it, but by the way this tractor squats down, this is going to be quite Quite a useful implement for compacting your silage. Make sure you have something very heavy and very big and trying to push that thing around. Okay, so that was the Olbert Silageroller SW300 model by BM Modding and Wopster, and that again is available for PC only. Next up, we have the Lizard Siroll 3000. This is another silage compactor, but I don't recall it being here under levelers. So let's take a look here and see if we can't find it. Here it is under miscellaneous. The Lizard Siroll 3000, $3,400 to buy, 2,000 kilograms. So not near as heavy as the other one we just took a look at. $173 to lease, $34 per day, and $71 per operating hour. Let's go ahead and use the same tractor we had earlier. Put it. Just to see how much this one squats down compared to the one we just took a look at. This mod is by Polycount and is available for all platforms. This one doesn't squat down near as much. Rollers look massive. Compare that to the back wheel of that tractor. Those rollers look absolutely massive. The best thing is, let's take a look at how much space the rear fender has between it and the tires. Okay. Let's grab this one. Oh yeah. You can tell that one is, she is squatting. That one is definitely a lot heavier than this one right here. Overall, this one just feels disproportionately huge compared to this one. Like I said, it's the Lizard Siroll 3000. Again, we're not going to go to the effort of compacting actual silage to see how fast it works or anything. Next up, we have the John D. Bru Toptiller 350P. It's going to be found under cultivators and also has the ability to seed select crops. So if we go to tools and then cultivators, have the John D. Bru Toptiller 350P. This mod is also by Palo 5090R. Has a horsepower requirement of 120 horsepower, so we can't use the little Fiat for this one. Has a 400-liter seed capacity, 8 mile per hour working speed, and 3.5 meter working width. $14,500 to buy. No configuration options. $739 to lease. $145 per day and $304 per operating hour. This particular mod will allow you to seed grass, canola, and oilseed radish, similar to the Kuhn cultivator that also does, I guess, cover crop seeding. So you see the option of grass. Down here, oilseed radish and canola. Have any pallets getting around the corner here? Oh, all right, let's go ahead and get a pallet of seed. Head on down to our test field. Give this cultivate a bit of a drag through the ground. Drop her down. Like how that ladder folds up. So of course we could just run it like a regular cultivator without doing any seeding. There we go. You can see quite a substantial bit of particle animation working off there. Now if we go turn it on. Yeah, I've turned it on now. And now we are doing our cover crop seeding, if you will, after we do our cultivation. Guys, there you go. That is the Bru Toptiller 350p, again by Apollo 5090R. And this mod is available for PC only. Alright, next up we have the M402 Disc Harrow by Mr. Dynamit88 and Thuroski. This mod is available for all platforms, and we're going to find it also here under cultivators. Now the M402 Disc Harrow, $12,500 to buy, 150 horsepower requirement, 4-meter working width. No configuration options. $637 to lease, $125 per day, and $262 per operating hour. So we swapped out our small T6 for the larger T7 tractor. So we would have the horsepower for this. We do have hose hookups on this particular mod. This one is a long cultivator too. Go ahead and take this down to our test field. Once again, give it a drag through the dirt. We're going to hire a helper this time just to see, picking out the particle animations there, wheel animations and such. Wheel dirt. Interesting splotchy pattern with the wheel dirt. Alright guys, so there you go. That is the Rawl M402 Disc Harrow, again by Mr. Dynamit88 and Thuroski. This mod is available for all platforms. Next up, we have the Kotte Garant Chisel plow. This mod is by Rick Black, label TWD Modding. This mod is available for all platforms. Also, we're going to find that here under subsoilers. So the smallest subsoiler we have is the Agrocem Combi Plow 3-meter subsoiler for 90 horsepower. We have the 4-meter variant for 140 horsepower. We have the Kuhn DC401 4-meter for 130 horsepower. Then we have the Garant Chisel plow, $3,900 to buy. 60 horsepower requirement is rather interesting because on the website it says 180 horsepower requirement. 2.5 meter, 7 miles per hour working speed. Again, it says 60 horsepower here, but on the website, on the in-game Mod Hub website, it says 180 horsepower required. Kind of interesting. So $198 to lease, $39 per day, and $81 per operating hour. Let's go get our little New Holland T6, which should definitely work for the 60 horsepower requirement, but it would not work for the 180. And let's take it down to our test field. And guess what? Give it a drag through the dirt. I have to say I've been gone all week, and I just had a chance to get back on Friday to do this weekend roundup, fired up the game and discovered that my wheel and pedals aren't working. And really haven't had a chance to dig into that any further, but that's why we're jerky with the steering. Let's go ahead and lower this down. Hired helper. And what on earth is that doing? That's doing nothing. Let's lower this, lower the cultivator. We don't have to turn it on, do we? Alright. It's cultivating. It's cultivating in very narrow strips. So we have cultivation there, still showing a seeded, planted texture, and cultivation there. In essence, we're getting, you can see, seeded texture with wheat, cultivate, seeded texture with no wheat, and then cultivated. Yeah, I'm going to call this one this ain't working. It's not the way we typically expect farm sim to work. It's basically cultivating just where the two tines are and a very narrow width with that. Let's check and see if we have the need plowing. You can see the need plow state is removed, but it's removed for such a very narrow portion. Can't zoom in any further than that. Kind of hard to see. That is the chisel plow that only seems to actually cultivate where the actual chisel is, not the entire 2.5 meter working width, which is what we would typically expect to see out of a farm sim implement. Alright, up next we have the Bremer KG300. This mod is also by Apollo 5090R. We're going to find that here under Cultivators. We have the Bremer KG300. This is a front cultivator. 100 horsepower is required for this. 3 meter working width, 9 mile per hour top speed. So this attaches to either the front or the back, it appears. No, it looks like it just attaches to the back, or the front, sorry. It attaches to the front, no configuration options. $76 to lease, 15 per day, and 31 per operating hour. So you could use this in combination with any of your favorite 3 meter seeders. I'm not going to mess with getting a seeder. Just going to run it down here to the field again. Give it a bit of a drag. This mod is available for PC only. Very nice looking mod, nice graphics. And there we go. It is the Bremer KG300 front cultivator, again by Plow 5090R. See, it kind of dirties up pretty quick. And it works with hired help. Guys, it looks like we have one more cultivator to take a look at tonight before we move on to the trailers portion of the weekend roundup, where we have 6 trailers to take a look at. So the next mod we're going to take a look at is the Sokoro SET-GM-30 by Tarcisi 007. This mod is available for PC only and is also under cultivators. No, it is not under cultivators. Let's see here. Disc-harrows. It is the Sokoro SET-GM-30 under disc-harrows. So again, the in-game mod hub says under category of cultivators. This mod is... Oh my, we are having all kinds of consistency problems with the mod hub tonight. So the store in-game says $18,000. Store price on the mod hub says $8,000. I think they're having a little bit of problem with the quality control on the listings of these mods in the mod hub. So $18,000 to buy, 8 miles per hour working speed, 3 meter working width, 90 horsepower requirement. And again, the website says 70 horsepower requirement. Oh, geez. Giants. Come on. $918 to lease, $180 per day, and $378 per operating hour. So is it 70 horsepower or 90? I'm going to go with whatever the in-game mod hub says. Go. We kind of already saw a little bit of the animations there. We've got 2 rows of discs that are in opposite orientation. Then we have a row of, looks like, compacting rollers on the rear. No one saw me sideswipe that car. There's definitely no white paint on this and no red paint on that car. Go ahead and fire up a helper. Does that work? No hoses to attach because there are no lights. There's no hydraulics on this. Pretty nice little cultivator, 3 meter working width, fairly cheap and inexpensive at the same time. Which gets the job done. And that is the Sokoro SET. There's a Sokoro SET-GM-30 cultivator by Tarcisi 007 and is available for PC only. So next up we have the SiloKing 1814 Multi by Ladier, Mach 1 Andy, and Kevin98. This mod is available for PC only. This mod can be found under the Animals category. So if we go to Tools and then Animals, basically we have the in-game SiloKing Trail Duo 1814. This is good for mixing total mixed rations. And then we have the modded SiloKing Trail Line Duo 1814. This one is good for mixing total mixed rations or pig food. So this mod has a capacity of 16,000 liters, no configuration options, $2,703 to buy or lease, $530 per day, and $1,113 per operating hour. way this works is basically it depends on what we add to it as to what it will take. So let's go over here and we'll just mix up a little bit of pig food. Let's go up here to our silo, and it says 75% soybeans, 75% corn, and 30% potatoes max. So we can put corn, hay, pig food, soybeans, straw, potatoes. So let's put a little bit of corn in here. Alright. Back this up. No big deal. Get ourselves a telehandler. Just might not be able to fill it from that silo, which is all fine and dandy. Let's go ahead and fill this with corn. There we have 2,640 liters of corn. This mod is rather interesting because lots of folks have been wanting to mix their own pig food. In 17, toward the end of 17, we had a mod come out like this. I don't know if it was by the same mod authors or not. Okay, so let's do that. Go over here and we take a look at our F1 menu. You can see we have 100% corn, and we now need soybeans. There. Oops. Oops. The wrong vehicle there. Put our soybeans in, then we'll put our corn back in. So, see, now we have pig food according to the texture. It does say we have pig food, so we could get by technically, I guess, with just corn and soybeans. I prefer to use silo. All of these oops is in. There we have. Before that we had forage, and now we have pig food. And let's put in potatoes. We'll see what happens if we have the wrong mix. We're going to go and add 100% of our potatoes in. Just like the mixer wagon, you can see we have 3 green bars. As soon as we get out of mix, now we have forage. Go back. Put some more soybeans in there until we have pig food again. Go. So you can mix your own pig food this way, or of course you could use this trailer to make your own total mixed rations. There's no need to demonstrate the making of total mixed rations. You all know how to do that. There we go. We have 10,560 liters of pig food that we made by mixing corn, soybeans, and potatoes into our mixer. That mod is by Dylander, Mach 1 Andy, and Kevin98, and again is available for just PC only. Next up, we have a 2PTS11 SARMAT. This is a trailer and is by FSSA Modding. This mod is also available for PC only. So if we go to trailers, we have the 2PTS11 SARMAT, $12,800 to buy, 12,200 liter configuration capacity. You can change the main color, a subset of colors, which is the frame, the rim color, and then the design color. Of course, the trailer body. We have capacity 12,200, 15,800, 21,200, back to 12,200. Then we have the design, the PTS11, PTS12. A little bit different graphics on there. $678 to lease as configured, $133 per day, and $279 per operating hour. You have hose hookups. I want to get a second one. I want to get one in that bigger configuration. Right here. Just to see if it would have a different fill types. Have corn, potatoes, sugar beet, sugarcane seed, wood chips, grass silage, pig food. So pretty much all of the standard in-game fill types for this trailer. See what the unload animation looks like. Very slow to tip. Rear door opens up. Got the hoses all the way through. It's faster to come down than it is to tip up. Brake lights with four-way flashers, left and right blinkers. Let's go over here and hook up to this other trailer configuration and see if it takes the same general fill types, or if it might change and only take forage type fill types. So that we've got a rear gate, which is a mesh, wire mesh. Wire mesh is kind of bent up, not perfectly square. We have grass, chaff, hay, straw. So in this configuration, it only takes kind of your forage type things. I suspect it would have the same general dump animation as the other trailer there. There you go. That is the 2PTS11 SARMAT trailer by FSSA Modding. Again, this mod was available for PC only. Now we have the Leboulch Goliath 54S17 manure spreader by Simulator Games. Go here to manure spreaders. The Goliath 54S17, $36,652. By 17,000 liter capacity. So it is right there between the Kuhn SLC 141, Samson Flex 23, but is cheaper than both of those in price. So we have no configurations as far as color go, but we do have Trelleborg Michelin tires. So we have Trelleborg TM2000, TM3000 wheels. We can go to the Michelin X-Bib. Then we have spreader system of standard. Compostar. Back to standard. Then we have capacity 15,000. 17,000 with the two little boards on top. Back to 15,000. So as configured, we're looking at 41,320 by 2,107 to lease, 417 per day, and 867 per operating hour. So we do have dynamic hoses, we have PTO, mouse control, raise and lower the pitch, mouse. Fold it. Back up. Let's go ahead and look in the store here and see what the working width of this 12 meter working width, 12 mile per hour top speed. Then toss a little manure in here. And let's head down here to our test field. Give it a bit of a look. So between clips, I closed out Farm Sim, unplugged and replugged the wheel, fired Farm Sim back up, and you can see that we now have a working wheel again. So that's good to see. Go. There is your poo slinging animation. Like it spreads it far and wide for sure. You guys, that is the Leboulch Goliath 54S17 manure spreader. Again, by Simulator Games, and is available for PC only. Alright, up next we have the DDK 240B bale trailer. This is by FSH Modding. We're going to find this again under baling technology. This mod is also for PC only. Here we have the DDK 24B bale trailer, $12,800 to buy. Standard wheels, wide tires, only configuration options, $652 to lease, $128 per day, and $268 per operating hour. Not going to mess with loading this up with bales or anything. According to the Mod Hub, this will hold 32 square bales. Do not have any type of hookups, electrical or anything of that sort. Do have lights on the trailer though, so it would have been nice to have at least seen electrical hookup. Check the straps. Straps going across there. I like how they are strapping to the rail. This is a dolly trailer. Just pull up alongside these. Representation. You're not going to get 5 long. Definitely get 4 long. So we got 6, 12, 18, 24. So to get 32, they're expecting you to put another hole, a 4th layer on there. Guys, that is the DDK 240B baling trailer by FSH Modding, and it is available for PC only. Next up, we have another trailer in the Agroliner HKD 302 Old. So in game, we have the HKD 302 for $25,000, and then we have the HK 302 Old for $20,000. 21,000 liter storage capacity. In-game HKD also has 21,000 liter storage capacity. See, it holds all of the in-game fill types. To change the color, change the design color, which is the tarp. We have a choice of Trelleborg tires in standard, wide. We have lizard, standard, and a couple of different standard configurations. We have kind of a ribbed standard there, kind of a treaded pattern. Michelin wide tires, back to Trelleborg. So since this is the old version, I think it would look better with lizard tires. We have design 1, design 2. That's changing the graphic here. Reflectors 1. We have reflecting tape. We have reflecting around the bottom. 2, we have no reflecting tape. 3, we have reflecting tape around the bottom and the top corners, it appears. And then we have 1 grain door. 3 grain doors. Let's get that configuration. $21,200, $1,081 to lease, $212 per day, and $445 per operating hour. This mod, if I hadn't already said, is by Gamer8250 and is available for all platforms. Check that. We've got some kind of crank animation here on the back. When we attach, I wonder if we're like cranking a lock. We're cranking some type of locking brake or something. So open and close. Like how the straps go down those little hooks when it's closed. This is the dolly trailer variant of the Agroliner. And let's see, we have tip side back, tip side left and right, and grain door. Go ahead and tip the grain door. Also have rear trailer hitch, so we could train these together if we wanted. We have synchronized grain door animations. Let's go grain tip side back. Kind of a latch that opens up, and then the bottom of the grain door. Look at that latch right there. Then we have tip side left. Then we have the animation on that handle. That animation again. The latch too. We have tip side right. And of course, we're going to see the animation on that one. Pretty cool little trailer. Cool indeed. Brake lights. Flashing left, right. Alright guys, we have one more trailer. And then we are done with the trailers and vehicles and implements. For the Joskin Betimax RDS 6000 trailer, this is basically a smaller variant from the in-game Joskin trailer. So we have the 7500 in-game, which is 2 axles, holds 6 cows, 9 pigs, 10 sheep. Then we have the smaller variant, the RDS 6000, which is a single axle, holds 4 cows, 7 pigs, 8 sheep. No configuration options on this. $15,000 to buy, $765 to lease, $150 per day, and $315 per operating hour. You have hose hookups. This mod is also available for all platforms and is by Black Sheep Modding. Just like the in-game trailer, we can open and close the tarp. And unfold the trailer. Lowers the rear down. Just like the in-game. Let's just go ahead and go up to the animal dealer and just see what these animals look like packed inside of this trailer. Now we're up here at the animal dealer. Let's go ahead and get some pigs. Let's fill them up. I look in there. 7 pigs. Some sheep. There's a sheep. I like how they're not all lined up in a row. So many of the modded animal trailers, they're just lined up. Front to back, nose to tail. There are cows. They are. There you go, guys. That is the Joskin Betimax RDS 6000 by Black Sheep Modding. Again, this mod is available for all platforms. Guys, that is going to conclude the like I said, the vehicles and trailers and implements section of this video. We're going to go up here and start talking about the placeables next. So first up, we're going to take a look at the Machineryhall by Moose Agar. This mod is available for all platforms. Go to placeables and then sheds. We have the Machineryhall, $15,000 to buy, $10 per day. In building maintenance, see it rotates pretty much on its center axis. It's a 3-bay, no-doored building. Car puts a little bit of a concrete pad down. A rustic, kind of an older-looking wooden exterior. Wood beam interior with what looks like metal roof. No lights in this thing. There you go. Very basic building, but nice overall. Like the weathered look on that, so we don't get a brand new building like it's come right off of the assembly line. Next up, we have the WaterTower by NecoPix. This mod can be found under miscellaneous. We have the water station WaterTower, $7,800 to buy. I believe it said $5 a day. Rotates on its center. Put it down. Yeah, we've kind of got that run down, repainted a couple times type of look on it. This mod also provides you with a water trigger. So we had a windmill from last week that was just totally decorative, provided you no real functionality. This one at least provides you a bit of functionality and looks in the fact that it gives you a water trigger. That is the WaterTower by NecoPix, and it is available for all platforms. Next up, we have a Windmill mod. Continuing with that great water theme, we have the Windmill mod by Ashkandi, Dokserve, and Karon. I know I probably butchered at least two of those three names. This mod is available for all platforms. $25,000 will buy you a windmill. So it rotates mostly on its center. Put it down. Got kind of the weathered look, rusted, weathered look. So the windmill's providing us with electricity, and indeed it does. It gives us an income per hour. So it gives us $50 a day in operating costs, but it gives us, depending on our difficulty level, either $30, $20, or $10 per hour. So we could earn on easy economy mode 360. So that's 10 hours, 300. So 24 hours would be $520. Is that right? No, $720 per day. $20 per hour would give us $480 per day, and $10 an hour would give us $240 per day in income. Of course, the $50 per day is going to be offset on that just a little bit. And then the final in this trio of windmills or water mods, we have the Shadoof by AAA Modding. This mod is also available for all platforms. It's right here. It is basically a water station. $5 a day. Rotates a little bit off center of that that vertical pole there. Put that down there. There's a little bit of grass texture down. Basically, we have a well with a bucket, and then a big counter-levered weight. This mod does offer a water trigger on it. That's also good. It's not only decorative, but also can serve a function. Oops. $5 per day, $3,000 to buy. Pretty good deal, if I say so myself, for a fairly small and fairly attractive water trigger. Next up, we have the Tyrolean Farm Buildings pack. This pack contains 8 different buildings, a house, 2 barns, 5 sheds. Some buildings you must adjust the terrain. You can do that in the terrain editing tool. This mod is by, well, I think it's basically by the same guy that did the Tyrolean Farms map, and this mod is available for all platforms. Let's see if we can't find all of these buildings. Let's first look under farmhouses. We have the Tyrolean Farms farmhouse, $180,000. Apparently we've already got one. I already had one of those. Alright. Put one of those down. Go. Then we have the sheds. We have Farm Barn 1. Spin it around. That there. Now up here on my placeable area, I've got all flat terrain. Farm Barn number 2. We have Farm Garage. Garage 2. And Farm Garage 3. Garage 4. And then finally, Farm Garage 5. Alright, so let's go over here and take a little closer look at all of these. This building does have an interior. Interesting interior. Thought the Tyrolean Alps building had a bit better of an interior than this one. But hey, not too often do we get placeable farmhouses with interiors in them, do we? Deck out here. Side porch. Then a secondary bedroom. We have a sleep trigger here at the house. And here we have a farm barn. This has a trigger of some sorts. Like a dumping area where we can dump root crops or whatever. This is kind of set up to be set up to where if we had kind of a building cliff, the hill of a building, we could basically have multiple entrances. We could have an entrance right up here to this level. Another trigger up here. What those are triggers for. Interesting multi-height barn here also. And kind of set up to where this could be back up against a hillside. Something else that would result you into coming in this way. Or you could just use it to, that's hayloft, and you'd be tossing it off the end. You have some sheds. Pretty interesting buildings if you're looking for something a little bit different to add to your map. That is the Tyrolean Farm Buildings Pack. And it is available for all platforms. Now we've got one more mod that we're going to talk about a little bit before we break into the video editor and look at and compare the 4 seasons geos against the in-game or the in-seasons standard geo. But we have placeable lights at rain. I really can't demonstrate this at the moment, but what it does is apparently it allows the lights to remain lit at night when it rains. So apparently when it rains in the base game at night, the placeable lights turn off. I never really noticed that. So at least that's kind of implied by this mod's existence. Apparently this mod keeps the lights on at night when it rains. Basically what it does. So that is by LS Mod Company and Kevin98 and is available for PC only. So guys, that is going to do us for the placeables section of this. we are going to jump out and jump over into my video editor when I come back, and we're going to talk about the 4 geos that were released this week and compare them against the standard base seasons geo. All right, guys, so in the upper left, once again, we have the standard seasons geo, and in the lower right, we have the seasons geo for France. As you can see, we have quite a difference in our planting and harvesting schedules. Both geos do not allow the planting and harvesting of cotton or sugarcane, but you can see as far as the ground temperatures, we already have warm enough ground temperatures to start planting our crops in early spring, assuming we have a planting schedule for early spring. You can see we can't even plant wheat until autumn. So for wheat, we're going to have to play an entire year before we can plant our wheat in order to harvest it next summer. But we can plant barley and oats in early spring only. Looks like we've got a fairly early harvest of that, where we can harvest our oats as early summer, all the way through to the end of summer. And once we hit autumn, we can once again replant our barley and oats. As far as canola goes, we are in the same boat as with our wheat. We can't plant our wheat until after the harvest season, so we're going to have to go 1 full year before we're able to harvest, or basically a year and a half there, before we can harvest our canola. Sunflowers, we're good to plant from early spring till the end of mid-spring, and we're not going to get to harvest those until early autumn and mid-autumn. Soybeans and corn, we've got to wait until, at the earliest, mid-spring through the end of early spring, and we've got an interesting harvest schedule. Soybeans, we can't harvest until the start of autumn through the end of mid-autumn, whereas corn, we can actually start harvesting at the beginning of late summer before the end of early autumn. So with the France Geo, other than potatoes and sugar beets, we are basically out of the field as far as the harvesters go, all the way, as late as the end of middle autumn, and then we're back into planting for the next year. So next up, we have the Seasons Geo for Cork, and I have to say, I have no idea if this is the name of a real location, other than the fact that the description says this would be an ideal geo for Irish maps. So let's once again compare it to the standard Seasons Geo, which should be based a little bit lower down the continent in England. So let's just take a look here. We've got very similar planting schedules for wheat and barley. Oats are pushed back a little bit. We can't plant our oats until the middle of spring, and still we end our planting season at the end of spring. Now, sunflowers is also pushed back a little bit. We can only plant sunflowers in late spring. You can see that we cannot do corn or soybeans at all in this geo, nor can we do cotton or sugarcane. So with this Cork Geo, cotton is out, soybeans are out, corn is out, and sugarcane is out as viable crops. Now let's take a look at the at the harvesting schedule and late autumn planting. So we can pretty much harvest our wheat, barley, and oats as early as the start of late summer and go all the way into the end of early winter. As far as harvest goes, we can do autumn planting again, the start of early summer for wheat, barley, and oats. Oats, we need to be done planting by the end of mid-autumn, but wheat and barley, we can continue planting till the end of autumn. As far as canola, we can once again start planting canola at the same time, the start of late summer, and we've got to be done by the end of late autumn. Canola has the same harvest schedule as wheat, barley, and oats, and sunflowers has a late start, the start of mid-autumn, and we've got to be also done at the end of early winter. If we take a look also at the potatoes and sugar beets, usually I skim over those crops, but I think if this is an Irish map, then maybe a focus on potatoes is worthwhile. You can see that we can plant potatoes the same as our standard seasons GO all through spring, and the harvesting of those is pretty much going to be the same also from the end, basically the start of early autumn through the end of early winter. All right, guys, next up we have the Seasons Geos for Shropshire. I've completely butchered that, but you know what? I've never seen that word before in my life. So this mod, or this geo, is based around Central European transitional climate with regard with the Alps in the middle and west, and then the Pannonian Plain in the east. Now, if we compare that to the Seasons Geo, again, the Seasons Geo is in the upper left. This Geo is in the lower right. You can see that our planting schedule for wheat, barley, and oat are pretty much the same, as well as the harvest schedule, which starts at the beginning of late summer all the way through the end of early winter. But we can plant basically from the end or from the start of late summer all the way through winter and back into spring. So the only time we can't plant wheat, barley, or oats is basically early and mid-summer. This geo also does not include the ability to use cotton or sugarcane, and canola has a very, very narrow window of planting in spring. We can only plant that in late spring, and then once again we can start planting again at the end of mid-winter, or mid-summer, sorry, all the way through the end of mid-autumn. And we can harvest canola as early as the start of late summer all the way through the end of early winter. Now, sunflowers looks to be about the same. Soybeans and corn also appear to have about the same planting and harvesting schedules, as do sugar beets and potatoes. So guys, the last mod we're going to take a look at today is the Seasons Geo for Bavaria. Now, this mod is also by Ned84, who was the mod author of the previous Geo. The description says this is a transition between the humid Atlantic climate and the dry continental climate. The weather affects the nearby Alps. So as we can take a look here, compare that to the standard Geo, which is once again in the upper left. The Bavaria Geo is in the lower right. We have a shorter planting schedule for wheat and barley. We have a earlier harvest schedule for wheat and barley also. So we've got to be done planting our wheat and barley by the end of mid-spring, and we can start harvesting that as early as the start of mid-summer, and we have all the way through the end of early winter to get that harvest in. Our oats looks to be about the same as the base Seasons Geo as far as the planting schedule and the harvesting schedule, but we also have a little bit longer planting in autumn. We can plant our wheat, barley, and oats all the way through the end of early winter also. This is the fourth Geo of the day, and none of them have allowed the use of cotton or sugarcane, but we do have the ability to plant canola, although we can't plant canola until we can start to harvest canola. So we're not going to be able to get a canola harvest until halfway through our second year of gameplay. We can plant canola as early as the start of late summer, but we've got to be done by the end of mid-autumn, and we've got to wait another whole year to harvest that canola because we can't harvest that canola again until the start of late summer, year 2. Soybeans and corn, we have a rather long planting schedule from the start of early spring all the way through the end of early summer, and then our harvest schedule we have from the start of autumn all the way into the end of early winter. Soybeans, we can plant the mid and end of spring, and basically we can start harvesting that the start of autumn. And then if we take a look at our potatoes and sugar beets, pretty much in line with the base Seasons Geo. So guys, that is going to do us for this weekend's Weekend Roundup. Again, this is all the mods newly released in the Giants Mod Hub for the week of October 14th through October 18th. So let me know in the comments, what was your favorite mod released this week? What was your favorite mod updated this week? I know we typically don't cover updated mods, but you know what? They still get updated with features and functions. Let me know in the comments what was your favorite, either of the updates and the new releases. And until next time, happy farming.